Good morning viewers. In the previous class we have studied under production management, production planning and control, scheduling, routing, etc. Now in this session today we will go for dispatching, network, how to draw the network diagrams, PERT and CPM, and how to estimate the time calculations. In this session, after half an hour you can ask any questions and answers. We will give you the caption. At that time you can ask any questions. Now for going today's session, the thing is dispatching. Now let us go for what is the dispatching. So now before going to dispatch, we have studied production planning and control. So how to plan the production and whether it is according to the planning or not, it is being controlled. Next is the objectives of PPC and functions of production planning and control, and routing in how best we can give it to go for minimum time, and scheduling time, at what time it has to start and at what time it has to stop. Now for today's dispatching, we will see what is this dispatching. Dispatching is actually, it is a executive function. So we are going to give the orders to start the work at particular work center to different workers. Now see what is the dispatching. It is the release of orders to set productive activities in motion as per the previously planned times and sequences which are already given in route sheets and scheduled charts. So here the productive activities are given, that is release orders, who has to start at what particular machine, and release of materials, release of tools, etc. all the things should be given. That is called productive activities related to productive in motion as per previously planned. So in production planning or in routing or scheduling, we have given certain planned activities. According to that, dispatching should be done. Right, like this we have to make schedule charts in scheduling. According to that, we have to go for the dispatching. Now actually dispatching is nothing but physically handing of a material or tools or components. Now let us see this another thing. Dispatching gives necessary authority to start a particular work which has already been planned under routing and scheduling. So here necessary authority to start a particular work. So who has to start that particular work? That authority should be given, that is called dispatching. Now let us see what is this dispatching. It is nothing but it is a executive function of planning. So what the planning we have given, that it executes physically. Next is it ensures that plans are properly implemented. So whatever the plans we have given in different planning or control phases, whether they are according to the planning it is going or not, that we have to go for it. Next we have to see what is the key point in the dispatching. Let us see here. It acts as a key point of production in communication system. That means it directly communicates with the production department and sales department, so that we can go for whatever our demand is there. According to that we can go for producing the things. Next is it creates a direct link between production and sales, as earlier I said. Now so the communication should be given, what type of material, what type of equipment, what is the capacity of that particular department, etc. should be known. Now let us go for what are the types of dispatching. Here there are two types of dispatching. One is centralized dispatching, second one is a decentralized dispatching. Let us see individually what will happen in centralized dispatching and decentralized dispatching. In centralized dispatching we have to see how the orders are giving, that is, it is centralized directly from the management, that we will get the orders. Let us see this centralized dispatching. Here in this, the central dispatching department orders directly to the workstation. So instead of the supervisor, directly the dispatching department gives the orders. The orders are given to shop supervisor, who starts the work accordingly. So this department gives the orders to the supervisor and he will start the work accordingly. Next, the supervisor can give suggestions in this regard whenever needed. So while doing the work, there may be certain problems or certain things, that suggestions can be given by this particular supervisor, because the orders are given from the direct dispatching center. Now let us see what is decentralized dispatching. In this, the shop supervisor himself will prepare the dispatching orders, whereas in centralized dispatching, the shop the central dispatching center has given orders, whereas here the supervisor himself will give the order and he decides the sequence of such prepared orders. The sequence of order will be decided by the supervisor, but not the dispatch center. He dispatches the orders to each equipment and worker under him. So whoever the workers are there, what is the capacity of that particular worker, whether skilled or semi skilled or unskilled, and what is the type of machine available, what is the capacity of that particular machine, etc., will be known to the supervisor. So he can give what machine should be given to what worker and what order should be given to each work center, etc. Now we will go for what are the functions of dispatching. Now here first one is assigning of work to individual machines or workstations and men. So what work should be assigned to which machine, to which man, that is to which worker, and which workstation should be allotted according to its functions. Whether that particular lathe department is there, then we have to go for that particular work. Next is movement of materials, tools, jigs and fixtures to the point of their use. The another function of dispatching is that they should see what is the movement, whether the materials are moving from stores to work center, or in case of decentralized, the individual stores or decentralized stores to the work center. And the same way tools and jigs and fixtures, etc., can be given. Now another thing that other functions are issuing inspection orders after each operation. So whether after the operation, one operation was performed, whether it is according to the specifications or not, it should be seen, and if it is not, then we have to go for corrective action, that is expediting or other things. Next is recording and operating the ideal time of machines and workers. So here what we have to see, record and operating the ideal time of machines and workers. In this section or in this department, how many machines are there, how many men are there, how much time they are keeping idle, whether we can load or we can go for some other extra work, like that can be seen. Now next we will go for the procedure of the design. So how to dispatch a procedure. The first thing is, this involves issue of various orders for each operation, such as various orders are stores issue order. That means it authorizes stores to issue material for doing or performing that particular worker. Next is a tool order. It gives the required tools, whatever the tools required, that should be given to the particular worker or particular center. Let us see now here there is a one tool sheet which is given to the worker. So what the tools were given here? So here it was a name, tool sheet number, description, quantity. So for example, I have taken that particular worker has taken 3 spanners. So spanners 3, quantity. Like that, whatever the required tools are there, that will be written here and numbers, so that it will be recorded and it will be kept, and again when they give the return back the tools, then it will be it should be kept at some other place for recording. Next is a job order. So, to whom the job should be given, that is the worker, to which machine the job should be given, that is the order we should be given. Next is the time ticket. Here we have to see that at what time it has started that particular work and at what time it has been stopped, how much time it was taken. This implies how much amount should be given to the worker for his work. In that way it will help. Next is inspection order. So, in this inspection order we have to see whether the produced items are according to the specifications or not before going to the next work center. So, if the specifications are not there, so inspectors are invited to check the specifications. Then if they are according to the specifications, then it is a move order. That means it will be given to the move that the component can be given to the next work center or it can be moved to the next work center. So, this is about dispatching. Now, after this we will see expediting, whether any corrective action should be there. That means after dispatching we will know what the things are going to be done, whether it is according to the planning or not. If it is not according to the planning, we will see whether it is going to be reaches, whether it is to be corrected. In case if it is corrected, corrective action will be taken, and if it is not to be corrected, then total planning and control should be changed, total schedule has to be changed. This is about briefly dispatching. Now, here what is happening is all this production control, planning, etc. we have done, routing, scheduling, dispatching, everything has done. But now what happened is, as I earlier said in the previous class, there are number of many activities, many operations in a work. So, what will happen is, when that particular work or particular project has to start within a limited time and it should complete according to the schedule, we have to see that all the activities in that particular work should be completed according to the time. But here what happens is, if for example, as I told earlier, in case of car manufacturing there are thousands of components are there, but all the thousands of activities we cannot concentrate. So, there might be some activities which we have to concentrate and some may not be concentrated, so that they may have certain time, even that time may be delayed, total project time may not be changed. So, in that way what we have to see is, there is a management technique which is called management technique, which gives us to go through as early as possible to complete that particular projects. For example, nowadays you can see there are lot of items regularly we are observing, each project and every project is delaying for months or years together. So, by using management techniques we can avoid this. In Great Britain, the electricity power, Central Electricity Power Department has saved 70% of this time, 70% of time by adopting this management techniques. So, the same way we are also going to see in a project how many activities are there, out of which are to be concentrated and which are not to be concentrated, so that it can go for within a prescribed time. So, that means the total project time should not be delayed. So, for this what we require is project should be done. So, what we have to do, project should be broken into different activities, and we have to identify which activity is important, which activity is not important in terms of time, that is time estimates we have to make. So, before going to this how to draw the network diagram, how to time estimate, etc., we have to see what is a project. Now, the project is composed of jobs, activities, functions or tasks that are related to one to the other in some manner, and all of these should be completed in order to complete the project. So, a project is nothing but having number of activities or tasks, and the relation should be there one to another. So, after completion of one operation, the next operation should be done. So, that relation should also be given, and the project time should be less. So, for example, let us take the example of how to manufacture a bolted nut. There are drawing, then thread cutting, then head forming, then cutting. So, these 4 should be given in order and in a relation that we have to give. Now, let us see again what the project has. The project, every project has one specific purpose. So, what is that purpose? It starts at some specific moment and it is finished when its objective have been fulfilled. So, for example, I got a order to manufacture a boiler. So, what is his project here? It starts at specific moment. At what time it has to start? So, today I received an order. So, after 20 days or after 1 month I have to start the things. After starting it may take another 30 days. So, after 1 month I have to start it, after 2 months I have to complete it. So, that will be given here. Next is, while technology deals with the material things, management deals with the both material things as well as a human being. So, what we told is management techniques. So, here what management says, so technology deals with material things, but management deals with the material things as well as the human beings. So, how the human are working with that is the coinciding or relation with the machine and man, how best he will complete it or how much less time that he is going to complete it. Now, let us see what the project should have. It should be completed with a minimum of elapsed time. So, the project should complete within a given time, whatever the time we have given, within 2 days, within 2 months it should be completed. It should use available manpower and other resources as sparingly as possible without any delay. Should be available, it should use available manpower. Say for example, we may not have that particular type of skilled person or semi skilled person like that, but we cannot say that cannot be done. So, we should see that we should use that particular persons to with available persons to perform that particular operation or that particular project. Next is, it should be completed with a minimum capital investment without a delay. So, the work can be done in any way, whether it might be at higher cost or lower cost, or at after taking long time or within short time that we can complete it, but what we have to see is it should be completed with less cost and within the less time. That is what we require in this management. Now, what is the management techniques that we have seen now? We have to see that the relation between machine and human beings or technologies should be cooperated or interrelated. According to that, we have to go. Now, we will come to a certain thing that is called network methods. Now, we will get this management techniques, that is the completion of the project within the given time through this network methods. Now, what is network? Network is a technique, is a major advance in management science. This technique is based on the basic characteristics of all projects, that all work must be done in well defined steps. So, a project means all activities in it must be completed well in defined steps. That means how we have given in scheduling or in routing, and according to that we have to complete this particular task that is given in the network diagram. Now, what this network diagram gives us? The network diagram or network technique exploits these characteristics by representing the steps of the project objectives graphically in the form of a network or arrow diagram. So, here this network is represented the steps of the project objective graphically in the form of a diagram. So, the network diagram will be drawn and the relation between two operations or interrelationship will be given. The network techniques are called by various names. However, PERT and CPM are the two major networks. Say other than PERT and CPM, there are lot of other techniques, but these major things are PERT and CPM. That is, PERT is nothing but program evaluation and review technique, and CPM is called critical path method. So here PERT, that is program evaluation and review technique, is taken when non-repetitive works, and CPM is for repetitive works. That is, when the cost is not important, then we will go for PERT, and when the cost is also important with less cost that we have to go for it, then we have to go for the CPM. Now, what is a network? So, the network is one of the most modern tools of the project management. It is always possible to break the entire project into a number of distinct well defined jobs or tasks called activities. Say for example, I am coming to college. So, it is a project, it should be broken. So, what is this? I have to come to the bus stop, from bus stop to traveling in a bus, then from bus to college, then from college to class. So, like that we have to break everything in different functions, activities, and we have to see which activity is important, so that the total time is within that particular specific time we will reach the things. That is about a network. Now, we will see how this activities and events will be shown. Here there are so many things. The beginning and end of each such activity constitutes an event of the project. Say for example, I am going to take a class. So, what is the event? The beginning. So, I am starting from the department. The start is called event. Again I came to the department, that is a event. The network diagram is a flow diagram consisting of activities and events connected logically and sequentially. So, here the network diagram is nothing but connecting activities and events. So, what are the activities? So, I am going from department to classroom. So, that is I am walking, it is an activity. After that, stop walking, it is an event. Then start teaching, then stop teaching. So, here this is a combination of event and activities. So, how this will be related, that will be given in the network diagram. In the network diagram, an activity is represented by arrows, while events are represented by circles, or even in some cases this events might be represented with rectangle or squares or elliptical forms also we can go for it. Now, this activity is shown in either continuous line, that is arrow with one end, or dotted arrow, that is in case of dummy activities. Now, briefly, what are the elements of a network? There are two basic elements of a network, that is event and activity. Event is represented by either circle or square or rectangle or ellipse. Activity is represented by arrow. As I told earlier, in case of dummy activity, it is shown by dotted arrows. Now, let us see what are the examples of activity and event. Now, see, avoid delivery of lathe. So, I have taken a project, that is I have to install a new lathe by removing the existing old lathe. So, that avoid delivery of lathe. So, I have to go for order, I have to order the order for new lathe. So, that is the first activity. Next, remove existing lathe. So, whatever the lathe is existing, that should be removed. Next, install power supply. So, power supply should be installed from that particular point according to that new machine, whatever the points we have to go for. Next is install the lathe. So, the lathe has come and you have to install the lathe, new lathe. Connect to power. After installing the new lathe, we have to give the connection of a power. Then test whether it is working according to the specifications or not. Then dispose of existing lathe. So, whatever the removed lathe is there, that should be removed. So, this is about one project which consisting of number of activities or events. Here we have to see for the same thing in a network diagram. In a previous we have told that it is nothing but relation between activities and events. Now, let us see the same thing how we can draw the network diagram. So, first one is await delivery of a lathe, that is 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is await delivery of a lathe. Next is install a lathe. In another way, that is we can do both at a time, that is a remove existing machine, await delivery of a lathe. Both can be done at a time, and as well as install the power supply. All the three can start at the same time. Then after removing the existing machine, dispose of a existing lathe. So, this should be disposed of. Now, this is the relation as we earlier said, removing of the existing machine and dispose of a existing machine. This is called a relation. This gives after removing, then only we go for disposal of the existing machine. After installing power supply, we will go for connect to power, then test it. So, this is how the relation was given: install power supply, connect to power and test. And coming to here, await for delivery of lathe and install the lathe, that is when the lathe has come we have to go for installing. So, this is called a network diagram. In the network diagram we are having two types, that is AOA system and AON system, that is activity on arrow system and activity on a node system. The present figure which now we have seen is called AOA system, that is activity was represented on the arrow. Now, we will go for the same thing in AON system, that is activity on node system. Now, project started, this is the starting event. Next, existing machine removed, power installed, lathe obtained. So, here all these circles are called events. Now, that is activity on node. So, what is this activity? Existing machine is removed. This was shown in a node, that is called AON system. Here it is event oriented system, that is PART system, whereas in the previous it is CPM, critical path method. Here existing machine removed, power installed, lathe obtained, connect to power, lathe installed, machine disposed of, lathe tested. Here there is two arrows which are dotted line, this gives dummy activities. Here it is an artificial activity which we have created, but it gives the relation between these two, but it does not consume any time or any resources. That means here machine is disposed of, there is no use for us to keep the old machine, but for the testing of the lathe also there is no relation with these two, but what it gives is the relation that it should be disposed of, otherwise where to keep it, and the workstation design etc. will be a problem here. So, this is about AOA system and AON system, activity on node and activity on arrow, and AON system is used in PART and AOA system is used in a critical path method. Now, let us see the elements of network in detail, that is activity and event. The commencement event. So, what is the event? Event is the commencement of or completion of an activity is called an event. So, this event will not take any time, it doesn't consume any time, it doesn't consume any material. Say for example, design completed. So that means design is completed, it is an event, it doesn't consume any time or resources or money. Next, lathe installed. So installation of lathe is over, it doesn't consume any time or resources. Parts assembled, assembly of a component is over. Pipeline laid, the pipeline was laid. So this doesn't consume any time, are called event. Now how many types of events are there? There are number of types of events, but we will go for first one is the tail event. So what is this tail event? Tail event is one which marks the beginning of an activity. So here you see here tail event, this is the starting node and here it is a arrow. So in the arrow head is there, if the node is not on the side of the arrow, then it is called a tail event. That means no activity is coming inside or coming to here, this is the first activity. So 10 is a event number, again 1 is event number, because it is an initial event we are given here as a 1. Next 20. So here this particular event has a number of concurrent activities starting at same time from same event. So 3 activities are going from this particular things. Now let us I will continue this thing. Meanwhile, if any doubts are there, you can ask through the questions. Now another thing is dual role event. So what is this dual role event? All events except initial and final events are dual role events. That means here let us see here an initial event and another one. This event is having 2 activities, one is coming here, that is initial, and another one is leaving here. So it acts as a 2, initial and a final. So if it is only 2, activity A, activity B, activity A is initial event, activity B is a final event, then this is called a dual role event. Here there are number of activities A, B, C, P, Q, these are initial events and these are these are called dual role events. It means it is having both the things are doing at the same time, that is the into that particular event. Next we will go for different. Here in the activity you might have observed that 10 was given, 25 was given, here event 25, event 10. So here this is nothing but called skipping of events. In some of the cases what I told is in the project there are number of events, so number of activities, when we may go for giving numbers we may skip 1 or 2 events. In that case if we give serial numbers where to give that particular event number, that should be given. So in case if I given 30 activities and one activity I have forgotten, then which number I have to give. So if I go for 10, 20, 30 like that, then the whatever the skipped event is there, that can be given as a 31 or 21 or 22 like that. So that is a called skip of a event. In that way you can know. Now let us go for activity. So what is activity? An activity is the actual performance of a task. So what is actual performance? That is, it is an operation that it consumes resources. It is the work required completing a specific event. So what is event? Teaching. So it is work required completing. So teaching should be completed. So it takes certain time, one period of time, that is 50 minutes or 100 minutes. So it is consuming the time. So for what? Completing specific event, that is completed that particular teaching in that particular periods. Next is it requires time, resources like manpower, material and space. So for this it requires man and materials and resources, whatever the things are required. but whereas in the case of event it does not consume any time or resources. Now, let us see for the examples of the activities. That is, prepare specifications. So, we have to prepare the specifications, it consumes certain time. Assemble parts. So, we have to assemble the parts, it may take half an hour or 1 hour or 2 days or 3 months or 1 year. Lathe installed, installation of the lathe was done. So, it has consumed certain time with certain resources, that is man. Design completed, again it has consumed certain time and resources. Preparing a budget. So, again this is also taken certain or consumed certain time. Now, this is about activities. Now, how the interrelation was given in the network diagram in the project, that in the definition we have given, it gives the relationship between the activities. Now, we will see how this interrelationships are there. Here there are a number of things, parallel activities, serial activities, like this. Parallel activities, the activities which can be performed simultaneously and independently to each other are known as parallel activities. So, for example, here you see simultaneously at a time we can start two functions, that is called interrelationship, and this is called parallel activity. Now, let us go for the serial activity. Now, the serial activity is nothing but are those activities which are to be performed one after the other in succession. That is, once, say for example, this is A, this is B, unless A is completed B cannot start. So, it is called serial activities. These activities cannot be performed independently to each other. That means, if I want to go for this activity, unless this activity is not completed, this cannot be started. So, that is called serial activities and gives us the relation between these two activities. Now, another the different other types are predecessor activity and successor activity. So, predecessor activity is nothing but the activities that are required to be performed before another job or activity can begin are called predecessor activities to that activity. So, for example, you see this particular figure again. Here what is that we find is, this is one activity, this is another activity. Now, this activity A and this activity B, A activity is predecessor to B and B activity is a successor to A. So, this is how, that is activity before a particular activity is called predecessor activity and now we will go for dummy activity. So, what is this dummy activity? A dummy is a type of operation in the network which neither requires any time nor any resources, but is merely a device to identify a dependence among operations. So, as I earlier said, it does not consume time and it does not consume resources, but it gives you only the dependency of the operations, what operations are required and how it is to be related, so that another thing can be done. Now, let us see for what are the network analysis, what different types of network analysis are there. CPM network analysis and PERT network analysis. That is, CPM network analysis nothing but critical path method network analysis, and PERT is nothing but program evaluation and review technology review technique network analysis. Now, in this case all these networks we have to go for time estimates. So, what is this time estimates? Time is the most essential and basic variable in PERT system of planning and control. In PERT we will go for planning and control, where the event orientation is there, quality is important, not the time and not the cost. So, there we have to go for the particular start of event and particular end of the event, the start and end timings also should be given. To take uncertainties into account, the following are the three time estimates that PERT employs. So, PERT is having three estimates, that is because this is nothing but uncertainty is there. So, we are having 3 times, that is pessimistic time, optimistic time and most likely time, because it is estimating, we can't say under certain beta curves etc., we have to estimate the time. So, anything, say for example, we will go for writing an exam, after that coming over to the examination we will see how many marks we got. So, maximum marks how many we get, minimum how many. So, based on that we will go for average, I may get so and so marks. In the same way here also we will find the time estimates are 3. One is the optimistic time, next pessimistic time and most likely time. So, what is optimistic time? Here this is the shortest possible time in which an activity can be completed under ideal conditions. Here it is the shortest time in which we will, that means we are not considering any deviations in this particular case, everything is going on according to the schedule, no drawbacks and no stopping of the work etc. are there. Next is pessimistic time. Here it is the maximum possible time that would require to complete the activity. So, maximum time is called pessimistic time. Here we are considering that all the things are going to be bad, everything is going to be delayed and all the drawbacks are there, but except cyclone etc., we are not considering, but seeing that how much time it would take, maximum time with all the delays, it is called pessimistic time and it is represented by TP. Now, most likely time, it is called we are considering all the things are going on according to the schedule and no major drawbacks will be there and it is represented by TM. Now, let us go for how to find out this expected time. Now, here this expected time it is called average time, it is being given like this. TE is equal to T naught plus 4 Tm plus Tp by 6, that is T is expected time or average time, optimistic time, most likely time and pessimistic time by 6. So, for example, let us take this 3, 4, 5. 3 is a optimistic time, 4 is most likely time, 5 is a pessimistic time. So, 3 plus 4 into 4, that is 16, 21 plus 5, 26 by 6, that is 4. So, average expected time is a 4, like that 1, 3, 5, that means it is a 3, expected time is a 3, like this 7, 10, 13 we will get expected time of a 10. Now, in the again we are having earliest start time, another time is earliest start time, at what time, by what time that we can start that particular activity, that is called the earliest activity. Like that we are having latest finishing time, earliest start time, latest finish start time. Now, let us see how to draw a network diagram. For example, there is another thing which we will get is slack or float. What is the slack? Slack may be defined as the difference between the latest allowable time and the earliest expected time of an event, that is S is equal to TL minus TS. So, here, so for example, a project can start, a particular activity can start and a particular activity can complete, there might be certain gap, that is called a slack. If the slack is 0, then it is called a 0 slack, and if the slack is positive, then it is called positive slack, and if the slack is negative, it is called a negative. If the positive slack means that the available resources are excess, it shows the resources are excess, and the 0 slack means it is going according to the schedule, and negative slack means the project is going to be delayed and at any time it is not according to the planning and all the resources are not in a according to the things, that is a float. Now, we will go for how to calculate the critical path. So, wherever the slack is 0 in all these activities, it is called a critical path. A critical path is one which connects events having 0 or a minimum slack. So, which is having 0 slack, that is whatever the slack is there, if it is 0, then it is called a critical path, and it is the longest path which connects the initial and end events. So, this is how we have to calculate the critical path. Now, So far we have discussed about the dispatching today and pattern CPM, that is management techniques, networks, etc. How to calculate time estimates in case of pattern CPM and critical path, how to calculate critical path and how to calculate slack. In the next class we will go for the how to draw the network diagram and estimating it.